Okay. By the way, before we go into further about traveling, I want to be able to
Sure.
understand, because
Mhm.
I think your what you do is very broad, you know, is
Yeah.
broad. So break it down for me,
Sure. Sure.
so how do you interact, or how do you reach out to clients?
Right.
Oh, how do you market yourself?
Sure. So I exclusively now am on social media. 98% of my clients and students come from Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and
Hmm.
even LinkedIn. With 75% of those coming from Facebook alone. I'm on this. This is my job. I'm on Facebook and that now. The question is, how do you
Yeah.
stand out in a gigantic ocean of people
Exactly.
who are
Yeah.
constantly on there? My biggest thing isn't to stand out as much as it is to be authentic and to be truthful and
Hmm.
to be, to connect in that way. And that takes me showing up, but also being my authentic self. So I don't pay for ads. Everything that I do is organic. And it's just
Okay.
a constant, it's a constant connection with the people. And what happens is it's kind of like an energy too, right? We draw the
Yeah.
people into our lives with the energy that we produce and put out into the world. And,
Yeah.
it's important for me to connect with people on an authentic level. And so that's how I present myself. I never say I'm going to do something or be somewhere, or I never promote a place or say, oh, Indonesia's a great place to be, having never been there. I won't do that. And the people who follow
Yeah.
me know that, right? They know that, okay, she's
Mhm.
authentic. And it's that way. It's a constant kind of dance that I do with Message Me. They know that if they have a question, I'm going to give that. I'm going to serve them in that way and be able to connect with them so that they know that, yes, they're going to get an answer. They're going to understand a concept. And so the sponsored travel part is a very tiny niche. It's very niche
Yeah.
there. And the thing is most people say when they hear this sponsorship, they think, oh, no, I don't want to be an influencer. Well, I'm not an influencer either. I don't want to be
Yeah,
one
but
either.
somehow you are an influencer.
Well, I
Yeah.
influence I don't influence in the way of saying, and I'll give you an example. If
Yeah.
I'm sponsored at a beautiful hotel or I'm sponsored in
Mhm.
an exquisite, for instance, I go to Tuscany and I have these retreats and in order to include certain activities and excursions in my retreat, I have to be sponsored
Mhm.
first to know that they in fact fit with what the retreat's going to be about. So I was on a private catamaran because I wanted to have that as part of my retreat. So
Yeah.
most people, what do? What does an influencer do? She's in a bikini, she's hanging out half naked, she's laying on, and I don't begrudge anybody that. I don't. I think that that's, hey, use it, right? But
Yeah.
I
Yeah, absolutely.
come
Yeah.
to it from a different perspective. I advertise by sitting with the captain and his wife who cooked us an amazing Italian meal on board. I
Yeah.
showed the experience from that. I showed the scenery. I showed people enjoying themselves jumping in the water of all
Mhm.
races, of all colors, of all religions, it didn't matter, right?
It's
So I come
relatable
to it
and
from it's
exactly. Yeah.
exactly it's relatable
Mhm.
because not everybody is the size that can wear a bikini, and that's okay. Like I said, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
but I
Mhm.
think what's happening is sponsors and also people are getting tired of that too because it isn't
Yeah.
just visiting a place and taking a picture with you in it. So I come perspective and I bring it to my audience from a different perspective. I started over at 50, right? I started the
Wow.
worst in where I had been in
Oh, I'm
Singapore
sorry.
6 and thank you, but it was the best thing in the world, right? It's the best thing that can happen.
Let's talk about that. So,
Yeah, because it gave me the opportunity to say, okay, how do I want to live my life? And I wanted to live it in the most authentic way. And I wanted to
uh,
travel. I wanted to travel solo. At that time, I was solo. So, and for 7 years after I traveled solo, I went everywhere around the
so,
world.
so that is where the idea came in. I
Exactly.
want to be able to
Exactly.
promote these places, talk about it
Right. Right.
in their most authentic way.
Exactly. Exactly. So
Representing. Okay.
before that, I had started. So I've been in the sponsored travel realm. I've created this program and I've done this for 12 years now. But at that point, it was really about the luxury. It was really about getting the freebies. It was really about, traveling the world and being able to stay longer and travel more through the sponsorship.
Wait a second. I'm so sorry. How did you approach your first client? But I want to go back a little bit. I want to go back a little bit because you mentioned about divorce. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I just
That's okay.
yeah. So you started traveling after the divorce happened.
No,
Traveling a lot.
I started traveling alone after the divorce happened. So before that, I had traveled for 6 years as just a traveler. My home base was Singapore. I traveled around Southeast Asia. I went back and forth. And what I did was market for those people, for the high end. When I was in Cebu, I was marketing.
Started already.
Right. The business was started already. They've already started. So the foundation was there, but it wasn't something that I needed to do. It was fun. And so if I'm going to be honest, the substance wasn't there yet. The part of me that fell in love with me first, and then the ability to bring people of substance and help the market in a way that was different than everybody else hadn't started yet, because I didn't learn my lessons, right? None of that came into play. And then when it did, I then shifted focus. I said, okay, how can I then really make a difference? As a 50-year-old woman who started over, and had zero. I was literally there, left pretty much in Singapore by myself, to figure my way and the rest of life with zero money. Like I had been, boom, that was it. Life changed as I
For real?
And so for real. I had
zero
to figure
money.
Out, okay, now 16 cents was in the bank. I have a famous blog post that went viral, and it was literally
Wait a
16
second.
cents was in the bank.
I'm sorry, but hold back a little bit, because this is something that I want to learn too.
Sure.
I hear that story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You divorced. Wait a second. Did you guys have kids?
No, I didn't. I had kids with a former husband. So I did not have kids.
That's out of the equation.
That's out of the equation. Yeah.
So 16 cents, right? In the bank.
Cents, US cents.
Okay. Divorce. So emotionally you were not there. Financially you were broken as well.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So where did the support system went in? Emotionally, financially, was there friends?
Yeah.
Well,
I went back home. I have 6 children. So they were all grown. They have children of their own. And so I made my way back to the US. And of course, I stayed with them while I was figuring out what it was I was going to do. And what I did start doing is what I knew, right? I was in the online space, and I found ways to make money through managing somebody's social media here, doing some writing here. I piecemeal things together with the idea that I was going to create a program that I loved and offered it to other people, all the while trying to figure out.
So how long was your leverage? Staying and thinking, what am I going to do?
It was about a year and a half. Before I made the income that and part of that was literally, so 6 months into this. So I came back to the US in 2015. And then in 2016, I decided to take what I call a soul searching trip. And I went to Tuscany for 3 months. I stayed there. And that's where I dove into what is this.
That was the first traveling alone after the divorce.
Exactly.
So
that was the first
sort of
one.
like, can you consider that travel, as a sort of like healing?
Absolutely.
Soul searching.
Absolutely. I've written about that.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. When you left, did you look forward to like meeting somebody, like looking for a fresh start?
No. What I knew is, part of healing is to figure out, your mistakes, right? And so what had to happen is I was the common denominator in the failure of relationships. So I had to start there, right? You have to start with the common denominator, which was me. Whether what happened to me was fair or not, I still drew these people into my life. So I needed to figure out.
That's a very noble thing to say.
Yeah. Well, it's true too. You can't heal and you can't be a better person. You can't change unless you figure out your role in your own life, right? And why you do what you do. So that was a healing journey, and that was the trip that I decided to do to fund and go to Tuscany to heal. Why Tuscany? I don't know any more than you would know. I kind of decided it was going to be Tuscany or it was going to be Spain, because I have some family from Spain. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll go to Spain. Tuscany, maybe because I was watching Under the Tuscan Sun, maybe because I was watching Pray Love, whatever it was, I was drawn to it. And there was a reason for that because that in fact is where
Okay.
I did heal. So, and sorted all those things out. Part of that was going to be, what was I going to do? What was I going to recreate in what I'd already laid the foundation down for, which was the sponsored travel and my love of travel. And at the time I was single for 7 years on purpose. I didn't I wasn't ready, and I didn't want anybody in my life. So I traveled solo. I traveled to Tuscany and to Spain, and I've been to Indonesia and Malaysia and the Maldives and all those places alone, on purpose to learn about me, to learn about, what I wanted, what I liked, what I didn't like, boundaries I was going to set, all those beautiful things that you learn when you recreate yourself. As a 50-year-old woman, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Pull back a little bit. I have a lot of questions. I might forget them. Yeah. Let's try, because just like what you said, your career is actually really broad. As an observation as well. I wanna cut it to like, I want to piece them together. Going back to traveling.
Sure.
Traveling. How did you choose your travels? Was it random, or because there was a sale on, the fare is cheap? This was, I'm talking about before you got sponsored.
Right. So honestly,
was it by choice because I want to go to this country? Okay.
It was by choice. It was by choice because there was something about it that called me, and I wanted to learn more because I love culture. I love people, and I love food. So, when I saw, and that literally in the beginning, that's what it was. Now, when I lived in Singapore, it was more because of the convenience of it, right? Singapore is centrally located to so many beautiful countries that I was going to experience every single one of them while I was there. And so that was that decision. And then as I started making those decisions, what built the business was me talking about it and me writing about it and me posting about it. And then it kind of just happened, right? People started seeing it, when you learn about algorithms and you learn about how these social media platforms work, people started seeing more about that and then started reaching out to me. Tourism boards and, directors of PR and things like that started reaching out to me.
Wow.
In what did happen was I'm a dog with a bone too. When I want something, when I see something, I figure out how to do it. And my biggest one was in Singapore and in Indonesia and Malaysia. There's a company called YTL. They're one of the biggest, most luxurious companies. If you look them up, YTL. And the owner has since died, but he set up this amazing group of kind of island resorts. And what I loved about him was that he was very much about reducing the footprint, I should say, of people on these islands and making it as farm to table and holistic as possible while still incorporating the beauty of luxury in. So I was very attracted to that, and I wanted to be sponsored by them, but I wasn't a movie star. I wasn't this big famous. His best friend was Pavarotti. So Luciano Pavarotti was one of his best friends. So, I had a challenge, but it so happened that their main office was in Singapore. And so I went down there, and from the lobby, I called up and asked to speak to the manager, and she was an amazing human, and she came down and I bought her a coffee.
Was it easy? Was it easy to get an appointment for, somebody like that that's very busy?
No, I just happened to stop in, and I happened to say, "Would you like a coffee?" And she happened to say yes.
So you went in the office.
I did. I just went right there.
You didn't set any appointment.
No, I never did.
Wouldn't get to any appointment.
No, because what happens is people put it off and put it off and put it off.
Exactly.
Like I said, I'm a dog with a bone. If I want something, I'm going to go. But that's what life is, right? It's chance.
She's Chinese? I'm
beautiful.
sorry.
She is, I believe she's Malaysian and Singaporean. I believe she's Malaysian and Singaporean. Yeah. So I don't know that she works for them.
So wait a second. How did you approach her?
I asked if she was in. I told her I was in the lobby. I told them I was in the lobby. I probably insinuated in some way without lying, because I'm very truthful. I don't believe in lying, that I was there for an appointment. I just said, "Hey, I'm in the lobby and I'm looking for," I forget her name now. We've lost touch, but still, I said, "I'm looking for," is she in? I was wondering if she's in. And they said, yes, she is, probably assuming that I was supposed to be there. And she gets on the phone. Hello. And I go, well, hi, it's Marie Hernandez of Seriously Travel. I'm in the lobby. I'd love to buy you a coffee and talk to you more about the YTL group. And she's like, well, I'm coming up on a break. Sure. So she came down.
What a way to find a client.
Yeah. We sat down and became very really good friends for a while. Like we had that business connection, but she was also a sweetheart. Like she was just a sweet person.
She young?
And so she was probably, I don't think she was 30 yet when I met her. I don't know. Now it's been 7 years, 8 years. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I kind of like pitched myself and told her, I said, you know, I might be new at this, but I know my love of travel, my love of connection, my ability to write. I'm a very good writer. I want, you know, I would love the chance. So she gave me 2 nights at like one of these places. I blew it out of the water with the article, and I started talking about it on social media. And by the end of my time in Singapore, I had been one of their exclusive writers, and they sent me on 7 different places, sometimes over the water bungalows by myself. Like, unbelievable.
Oh my God.
Like, unbelievable. So yeah.
Wait a second. Hold on.
Yeah.
What are your platforms? YouTube?
I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn a lot.
Where do you write your articles?
I have my own blog as well, but here's the beauty of it. I've gotten away from that. I utilize Facebook about 75% of the time. I have a private group. I have my student groups on Facebook, and I have, you know, my courses on Thinkific, but I'm primarily on Facebook, and then Instagram and Twitter will be second, LinkedIn will be third. And it's all word of mouth now. 12 years in, it's word of mouth. You know,
teach me your ways, master. Oh my God, what a job.
Yeah, the beautiful thing is that when people love to travel and they kind of are interested, they hear the sponsored travel thing. And I also teach social media, not how to manage social media, not how to post on social media, how to connect like a heart.
Let me understand that. Hold on just a minute. I'm sorry. You keep on telling.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm just really curious. So when you travel, you know, the first thing that comes into mind, especially when you promote a country or a company or a brand, you know, what are your gadgets? Do you carry a camera with you, or is it, how do you take the pictures? Do you have any cinematic, you know, video shots? And do you narrate, or do you stand in front of a camera? Do you become a host? Do you become a vlogger? Hi, we're Seriously Travels today. Let's talk about this and that. Or
you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. I have my iPhone, and that's it.
Which is more natural, by the way.
And that's it. That's it. What I do is I create a before, during, and after social media marketing campaign. And I send them this itinerary of what I'm going to promise them, which are blog posts and also posting, because now social media has become, especially Facebook, has become really a micro blog, right? We can write beautiful, right?
Instagram.
So
TikTok.
Exactly. So I actually create stories and reels and posts, both long ones and short ones. And I tell them how many times I'm going to post. I do interviews. I'll do live videos when I'm there, which is fantastic, right? Because the algorithm doesn't work with a live video. You can get as many people. It can't limit. The algorithm on Facebook can't yet limit who sees your video when you're live. So if you have, you know, I have probably 10,000-ish on my business page, but on my personal page, I have 5,500. Those are the people that I have the
How long did it take you to get that number? 5,500.
On Facebook, on my personal page? Oh, gosh.
Personal page.
Since I've been back, so, I mean, I don't know, maybe 4 years. It's
4
years. Yeah. And that's only because I don't run ads. I don't believe in them yet. Now, I'm not going to say, no.
You should.
No, I don't.
And
the reason why the reason why I don't is because I want to be able to tell people that it's possible organically. And when I do, I'm not saying that I'll never boost a post or I'll never do that. When that time comes, if and when that time comes, I'll be all open and honest about that too.
Yeah.
I will. Because I want to connect organically. To me, the random person that happens to see something, I can't build a relationship on an ad.